So you're like probably the worst company and the worst person an investor come in and put his money into.
You're listening to the baddest show on the planet. Get your money right, get your game right, and everything in between. This is the Bad Hombre Podcast.
Damn, son, where'd you find this?
What's up, guys? It's your man Chris, and a friend of mine sent me this video. Gary Brecka. He talks about Grant Cardone ripping him off. So what I want to do is react to his video and give you guys my 2 cents because I'm not 100% agreeing with him. I'll tell you why. Let's watch.
The first time I heard about you was when you and Cardone started doing stuff together. Then from there, I saw the Dana stuff. I don't see Cardone as a health guy. I see him as a real estate guy. I think of you as a health guy.
True.
And I saw what's going on recently with you. What happened between the two of you?
It's so sad. I mean, my wife and I, like so many other business owners, were just completely duped by Grant and his partner, Brandon Dawson. They're professionals at business scaling. They're actually kind of professionals at business scamming. You know, when we got into business with them, you know, my wife and I started a company called Streamline Medical Group. And we started it because we wanted to make an impact on humanity. And we really wanted to shift what was going on in modern medicine. We treated Grant Cardone. He had a great he had a great experience with us. And then he said he was going to buy us and he was going to just blow our business up and we were going to scale to the moon. And what we realized was that really what they wanted to do was they took over our business. Now, look, I take responsibility for this because I signed a really bad contract with some really bad people. And I didn't know at the time because I was like this wide-eyed entrepreneur and I wanted to make this huge impact on humanity. And, you know, and Brandon Dawson and Grant were talking about, you're going to build $1 billion company. We scaled all of these companies, turned out to be complete nonsense. And essentially what they did was they paid us nothing for the company. They strung the payouts out.
Yeah. So, guys, nobody cares about you. Nobody believes in your idea. If somebody comes to you and sells you the world and the dream and all of these things, they just want your money. It feels good, though. They know they're slick. They're going to tell you everything you want to hear. So you need to get a lawyer or somebody, a second set of eyes to look at that contract. Somebody who's detached from the emotional. This guy sounds like he's an emotional guy. So inexperienced too. So he signed it blindly, and this is what happens.
Out over about 3 years. We got $250,000 at the closing, which we were then forced to put into Cardone Capital. And we put it into Cardone Capital before Grant Cardone told me that he was under investigation by the feds, that a 2-year investigation by criminal investigation was underway at Cardone Capital, and got into business with them. And you go to these events and they're so intoxicating. There's like celebrities on the stage and there's fireworks and, Grant showing you his planes and
yeah, I hate these events, guys. It's just a bunch of cokeheads. I despise them. PBD does events too, and I just think that a lot of people go to these events because it's a justifiable getaway. Why? Because you can write it off under the premise that it's an event, it's a conference, it's a business expense. So everything you do during that business trip, you get to write it off. So you justify it. But a lot of these guys, they're just doing a bunch of blow the night before. You talk to them and it's just everybody has a $1 billion idea. Everybody's just talking super fast. It's just the worst environment to be in, unless you have no identity and you're looking to belong to something. And this is where guys like this get in cahoots with bad people. This is where guys like this take advantage of, because these environments are made for weak people, to fall into the traps, right? These environments are, to entice weak-minded people, impressionable people, So like wolves and lions and the predators, the apex guys can just look at them, smell them. Oh my God, this guy's onto something with his company. I want to fucking come in, sell him the dream, make him sign where he can read the contract, and then this is what happens. So I don't go to these events.
There's oceanfront mansions, and Brandon's talking about all these businesses that he's scaled. And what you realize is happening is they are selling the dream of success, not success. And they built a company that's a fee-based company that is meant to strip fees from these young companies, $3 to $8 million companies, strip fees out of these companies, take equity in these companies, promise them that you're going to scale their company, but not have any obligation to scale the company. So the entrepreneur is obligated to pay fees. Cardone Ventures is not obligated to scale their business. And they put them in these bear trap contracts. I mean, as soon as we announced the lawsuit against Cardone Ventures, my law firm got hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of calls from young entrepreneurs like my wife and I that had been scammed the same way. And because you're so intoxicated by this dream of a $1 billion company and changing thousands and thousands of lives, you sign these agreements because they seem like great people. And then all of a sudden you realize that you've actually not just sold your company, you sold your soul. And they want to control every word that you say. I mean, I want
Of course, you sold your soul. You bought the dream and you signed the contract because they promise you all of these things. And don't be out here playing saint. You're not a saint. You wanted $1 billion valuation. Like, you were salivating when they were telling you these things, and they told you that you could be a billionaire with your $1 billion idea. So I don't think you're 100% a good guy.
went on the Joe Rogan podcast, November of 2023. Coming out of that podcast, we did 20,000 genetic tests, did 17 million that month in revenue. And Brandon Dawson and Cardone Ventures sent me a cease and desist because I wore the wrong t-shirt and didn't use an affiliate link that would drive all of those leads into the system that would turn them into other courses.
Yeah, of course.
Right. But my objective when we started was not to.
That's what you're supposed to do when you sign the contract. You're supposed to represent the people that are now your investors. You're supposed to answer to them. Like, you don't get to leverage their promotion of your business and the fact that you get to sit on their shoulders with your company and leverage all of their branding. But when you go to Joe Rogan, you act like it's a one-man show. So I think you're wrong for not using the affiliate link and for not wearing the shirt that you were supposed to wear. You were kind of like cutting off the middleman. So I think you're wrong on that one.
To pay your company fees to build your business. My objective was to get this information to the masses. And then what they did behind our back was the most sinister.
If your objective was to get this information out to the masses, why did you do a deal in the first place? Like, if you have like, investors come into your company expecting ROIs, expecting return on their investment, and whether that is they gave you money or they give you promotion, marketing, branding, you're obligated to comply. At that point, once you sign the contract, you gotta do these things. And it seems like you don't want to do them. You want all the benefits, but you don't want to do anything to help them get a return on their investment.
Thing that happened. And this is all in our lawsuit, so I'm not defaming them. What they did behind our back was my wife Sage and I were partners with Grant and Brandon. We were killing it in the genetic testing market. I believed in the gene test. I believed in the supplements. It took me 2.5 years to formulate the supplement that we use to fix these genetic breaks, and tens of thousands, in fact, hundreds of thousands of people were benefiting from it.
One thing I would say, I do believe that this guy is actually very good at what he does, and I do believe that his product are top notch. I do believe that he stands by his product. He doesn't seem. He seems like he knows what he's talking about.
We were really addressing the masses. We were killing it. We were doing 17 million a month in revenue. We were doing 20,000 new gene tests. We couldn't even keep inventory on the shelves. Then what they did without telling us was they went out and they bought.
I think he says 17 a month in revenue. I think that was just a month he went to on Joe Rogan. And this is the problem with a lot of these guys. He's guilty of it too. Like a lot of salespeople, a lot of entrepreneurs is like they always say that their best month is their average month. We were doing 17 million a month in revenue. That was just a month. You just said that was just a month you were on Joe Rogan that you did the 17 million a month in revenue. But you just framed it in such a way that sounds like that's your average month. And then that's how you attract investors. And then when you see how it works. Like
a company outside of our company, they bought a genetic testing lab in Austria. They bought a manufacturer of supplements in Austria. And without telling us, because Brandon Dawson was the CEO of both companies, the company he was partnered with, my wife and I, and Cardone Ventures, he forced 10X Health to do business with the company that he bought outside of our 10X Health company. He forced us to do business with this company halfway around the world. We didn't realize when he was pitching it to us why he was so insistent that we start taking patients' DNA that we were testing in the United States and ship it halfway around the world. So now we do a cheek swab in the US. They ship your DNA to Austria. It gets run in a lab in Austria. And then they make your supplements in Austria. And they ship your supplements back from Austria back to the United States. And so when he presented us with this new...
That's probably because the cost of doing it here in-house were probably really high. So what you should have done is, because now he's sort of complaining about logistics and quality assurance and diluting the quality of the product by doing these things, sending it to Austria stuff. It's probably because the reason that would have happened is because it was a lot cheaper to do it that way than to scale it and keep it on in-house, probably the way they were doing it. So this guy, what he should have done is find ways to optimize doing it here, so we kept doing it in-house the way they were doing it, so all of these things wouldn't have happened. But instead he was emotional and he was complaining.
New genetic test. I couldn't understand, why is he pushing this so hard? I could, Brandon, this genetic test is terrible. First of all, the gene snips in the tests we do in the United States are not even matching the genetic results that
What do you mean you couldn't understand? It's very simple. It's the cost of doing it.
You're getting overseas. We're shipping supplements from halfway around the world through customs. They're getting trapped in customs. They're getting sent back. We're not even telling the people here that we're sending their DNA outside of the country. They would put DNA swabs in refrigerators for weeks and weeks and weeks before they would even ship it overseas. The supplements were woefully underdosed for helping the patients that we were trying to sell this to. My wife had panic attacks. I had massive headaches and got acid reflux on them.
Yeah. So yeah, that when you say stuff like that, it just makes you sound like an emotional person.
A lot of,
and I know I sound cold, and you guys probably think I'm a fucking asshole for making these comments. I like this guy. I think he's a good dude. But when you're getting in bed with Grant Cardone, with PBD, Kevin O'Leary, fucking Donald Trump, you have to be ice cold, man. Like, you can't get in the ring with these guys and think that it's a good world. It's not. We're going to learn from this guy.
The compounds hadn't been tested on humans yet, or not tested in human trials. And so we got to the point where we said, look, I'm not going to sell this test. You've taken the successful genetic test and supplements that's helping hundreds of thousands of people, and now you're doubling the price of the genetic test. You're taking it from $600 to $1,200. You're quadrupling the price of these supplements. It's $300 a month, and you have to buy 3 months. So it's $900 out of pocket for the average family, which means a family of 4 is out of pocket $20,000 to do a simple genetic test, which you could.
Yeah, that's what happens. Like, you were complaining that in the contract, they're not obligated to scale your business. Well, this is scaling your business. You have no say about their pricing, how they package it, if they want to sell 3 months package instead of 1 month to month, if they double the price. So yes, I know he had a case about quality of the product where he didn't want to compromise the quality of the test and the supplements. So I agree with you. You can make a case on that. You can argue about that. But when you're fighting because you care more about the family of four affording this product, then you should not be doing deals where an investment comes in, because clearly you're not a profit driven person. And by you going on podcasts like PVD and saying all these things, there's no way anybody would give you a dollar investment. And it's very irresponsible from you. It's very irresponsible of you to take money where you only care about saving the world. I think that's great, man. Like, that's a good message. That's a good purpose in life, that you want to help people with health and make an impact in humanity and society. But if that's the case, then the way you go about getting funding is very different than getting somebody like Grant Cardone to invest and think that this is how it works. It doesn't. You don't get to have it all, man. You don't get to have $1 billion company and make impact. Alex Hormozy said it best. You can be right or you can be rich. You can't be both. Like, pick one. So it was your responsibility to make this company money, and you didn't. You were fighting them. You were not, like, how can you sit here on PBD podcast and complain that Grant Cardone were not helping you scale your company, where you went on Joe Rogan, you didn't wear the t-shirt, you didn't use the right link. You're fighting them when they increase prices and bundle it in 3 month packages instead of month to month, where they lower. Yeah, maybe you're opposed to lowering quality of the supplements to increase profits. Maybe you're opposed to having the DNA test done in Austria instead of in-house. What you should have done is figure out ways to optimize doing it here, and while not compromising on the quality of the product and the service. But all you were doing is bitching and complaining, and then you wanted to walk away from this deal and have no consequences. But Grant Cardone already delivered on your branding. Like, nobody would know who you are if it wasn't for Grant. Even PBD said that at the beginning. Like, you have this massive platform. So if you had done this in reverse, if you had, instead of having Grant coming to you, taking equity of the company and doing this deal, for the amount of exposure you have at this point because of Grant and you sitting on top of his brands and promoting yours, that exposure would have cost you millions of dollars in marketing if you were to write a check to Grant Cardone and his company. But you didn't. So you're like probably the worst company and the worst person an investor can come in and put his money into, if the purpose is to turn profits. If the purpose is to do good for humanity, I think you're the right guy. I think you're doing a great thing. I think you're doing amazing things for society, for the world. But you're not the right guy that I trust giving money to turn that into profits. Like, you're not that guy. Look how much you're fighting. So any investor watching is like, holy fuck, if I invest in this guy, he's not going to wear the t-shirt on a massive platform like Joe Rogan. He's going to cut me off, actually, right? You were trying to cut them off. You're not using the right links of affiliate. So what the fuck are you doing? Why would I even need to sponsor you? Like, why? This is not how it works. Of course they're going to sue you.
You take your gene results and run it through ChatGPT and get the exact same results. So I'll tell you right now, if you have a genetic test you've done anywhere in the world, run it through ChatGPT and it'll tell you what to supplement.
Get out of here.
Absolutely.
You can make that argument just about anything, right? You can make an app and be like, oh, well, I could have gone to ChatGPT and make another app just the same. It's just that argument. It's pretty stupid, actually.
Man, it's perfectly accurate. I'll put a link to how to do it on ChatGPT for free. So now we have a genetic test that's doubled in price, quadrupled in supplements that haven't been tested. Cheek swabs were sent in halfway around the world, and then bang, the shoe dropped. We found out they went out and spent $7 million, which they took out of 10X Health in the form of a distribution, bought a company outside of it, and shoved that company down our throats. And I said, I'm not selling this genetic test. And they said, if you don't sell this genetic test, we'll terminate you. And they kept their
You shouldn't have signed that contract in the first place if you're not on board with doing these things. Guys, unfortunately, when you get your first break, it might not be the most legit break. It might not be the most, the one that goes with your morals, your internal values. It might not be. Like this guy, what he should have done, unfortunately, is he should have played ball, um, have done all of those things, maybe sacrifice on that, make a pile of money, a shit ton of money, have a good exit, end up in good terms with Grant. Now that you have all that money, you could have done an impact, but now you have nothing.
word. They terminated me, and they terminated
Of course they did, and I'm surprised it took that long.
my wife in a company that we sold our primary residence to start. And we didn't do everything
Oh,
perfectly.
sold their house.
And, they put $250,000 in our pocket to buy this company, which I immediately put into Cardone Capital. So we never took any money off the table. When the company started making money, they stripped $9 million out in distributions to themselves, hundreds and hundreds and
He just said 7 million. Now it's 9 million.
hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars in totally unnecessary fees, because Cardone Ventures, which
Yeah, well, at this point, Grant is just trying to teach you a lesson and bury you. This is business, buddy. You got in the ring with a shark, man. Like, guys, don't be fucking doing businesses with these people. And you think PBD is any different, man? You think PBD, like, you think if you had done this deal with David, and he fucking, all this valuetainment fucking conferences and everything, and you go on Joe Rogan and you don't promote him, and you don't use the right links, and you try to cut him off and use your own links, oh, what do you think? He's gonna fucking just sit there and take it? Of course not.
owned 82% of our company, has this thing called the Strategic Business Unit, which is a bunch of untrained young entrepreneurs with no specific expertise in the area of business that they sell services in. And even though they owned 82% of our company, they still charged.
Hey guys, Grant Cardone here. For the last 10 years, I've been running what is today's largest, most successful business conference on the planet.
Holy
and I want to
shit.
invite you to be.
Holy,
Ma-
no, the fact that I get an ad from Grant Cardone, that's fucking hilarious. Holy fuck, holy shit.
fees every month, which they paid to themselves to scale our business. Our business wasn't scaling because of the Strategic Business Unit. Our business was scaling because the message was resonating.
You don't think he so when you're saying 17 million that 1 month is of that business that they owned 82% of, that business at 17 million in a month? Wow, that's pretty explosive. So you don't think the 10X brand and Cardone promoting and talking about it helped get it off the
Oh,
ground?
it helped me a lot. I mean, I never, first of all, I owe a debt of gratitude to Grant Cardone for
Yeah, okay, so here, I'm just gonna stop yeah, so look, man, like, it would have cost you $17 million to have this much exposure. So I don't know. I think what happened is you got put together. I think you're a good dude. I think you have an amazing product. I believe in that. There's no question about that. I think Grant was a client of yours, and I don't think my opinion personally, that deal should have never happened, because you're not a business guy. You're not somebody that is going to scale the company like the way at the scale that Grant Cardone wanted to be $1 billion company. Not that fast. Does it have potential? Yes. But the way you do it, the ethics, I think you're too green for that stuff, man. Like, these guys are savages. This is your first lesson. Guys, like, in life, you get one of these. One of these is going to take you out to lunch, man. Is one of these people in business or relationships. You get one where you just take it in the chin. Unfortunately for this guy, it came too quick. I mean, guy sold his house for this business, loves this business. He's too emotionally attached to this business. I believe that if he had played ball, if he had worn the t-shirt, Joe Rogan, used the right links, if he had allowed the supplements to be done out in Austria, the generic test, to compromise on the quality. If he had done like, packaging it so that it was double the price in 3 months, all of those things. If he had agreed to all of those things and just fucking be like, okay, fuck, I hate that this is happening. I want to just play ball, make a lot of money, have an exit, and then I do it my way, because that's what you're supposed to do in a situation like that. You don't have the cards. You don't have the cards. And now what do you have? You have an enemy. First of all, you have a huge enemy, Grant Cardone, who now wants to teach you a lesson and bury you. This is how these guys play, bro. And this is why you don't do deals with these guys, man. These guys are the devil. Donald Trump, this is how you do it, man. This is that level. So, you should have taken it in the chin, but now you want to do this and sue them and go on PBD and play that victim card. It's not going to work. So now you have a good product, but you have a non-compete in the United States. You have an enemy now. You also shown that you're not somebody who investors should put their money towards, because you do not care about making them profits. Matter of fact, you do the complete opposite. You fight them every time they try to scale your business. So nobody would want to invest in you. The only good thing you have right now is that you have a good product, and you have the exposure now. A lot of people know who you are. So you're gonna have to like sit this one out, wait for the non-compete to expire. I don't think you're gonna win that lawsuit. I think you did a lot of things that breach of contract. The fact that you did so many things that were you're not complying with them after you signed the contract to scale your business. So yeah, don't guys, like, unless you're willing to do what these guys tell you. If you have a good business that's doing great, it's taking off, and a big dog, a shark, a Kevin O'Leary guy, a PBD type of guy, fucking Grant Cardone, Gary V, doesn't matter who it is, man. The moment they come in and the moment you take $1 from them and the moment you sign a contract, you are obligated to, number one, do whatever you can to turn profit and cut costs, while keeping the same product. Like this guy, he did so many things wrong, but like I said, you get to have one of these in your life. And to wrap this up, it's good, guys. I mean, too bad for him, but for you and I watching this, that we haven't had this level of situation, it's good. I mean, you learn from these guys. Like, who people could watch this video and be like, who the fuck is this guy making this video? Like, what is he? What is it? I don't even have an exit. Bro, I'm just a student of the game. I watch these things. I've had little successes, nothing like this at this level, but we're watching and we're learning from this. This guy made a huge mistake. Grant made a huge mistake. So we have two lessons here. Lesson number one: if you're an investor, do not invest in guys like this, emotional, care about saving the world and stuff like that, because all they care about is that. So they're not gonna give you a return of your investment. And number two, if you're a guy like this, read those fucking contracts, man. People will come in and sell you the world, and it doesn't have to be at a level of Grant Cardone, PBD, or any of these big dogs. It could just be at the local level. It could just be a $2-3 million guy in your neighborhood, in your city, and they can come in and maybe they have a couple businesses, couple franchise restaurants and gyms and dealerships and whatnot, and they're smooth. They're worth a couple million. They have the best car in the city. Everybody knows who he is, and he sells you the dream. And now you start hanging out with him. Those guys can put you together too. And this is what happens. So, lessons, guys, lessons. You learn from other people's mistakes. Two people here made a mistake. Grant is going to be okay. This guy is going to be okay, but this one is going to take him a little bit of time to recover from. And he might have to, I don't know, rebrand, restructure. Who's going to want to invest in him, though? Do you know what I mean? You have to find different ways of getting funding for your business, crowdfunding or government grants, because what you're doing is good for humanity. So I think at this point, man, like, you have enough enough exposure, a lot of people know who you are. There's no reason why you should not bootstrap this from here on out. You should not do anything, maybe loans, but you should be able to bootstrap this. That's another thing too. Like Grant Cardone is not gonna sit there and be like, "Oh yeah, you think you're just gonna walk away after everybody knows who you are because of me, and now you're gonna walk away?" No, buddy. Watch what I'm gonna do. That's what Grant Cardone is doing, or his company. So that's what happens, man. Don't do deals with the devil. It's Chris, bad hombres. What's his name? Gary Brecka. You're not a bad hombre. You're a good man. I'll see you next time, guys.
So dark, can't see a thing. I hear a song of the broken beat. Give me nickel, give me dime, give me dollar.